So first of all, thank you so much for sending us the message about finding us on all the way up there in the north.
Yeah.
Tell us how it happened.
Well, I've had this hobby of what we call DX listening to the distant unknown, DX, since I was 14 years old in 79, so I'm 56 now. And it's been on and off, but when I have the free time, and especially in the summertime, when the reception conditions can sometimes be very different than normally, I take some time and I listen to what's available on the FM frequencies. And it was a Monday evening last July, the 13th of July, and there had been not so many and not so spectacular FM radio conditions before that last year. But that was certainly the best occasion of the whole year when I would say that at least all the colleagues of mine who live somewhere in the south coast of Finland, they were able to hear so many small local radio stations from England that I would say that it's never happened before. So, for example, I was able to hear something like or identify something like 45 different community stations, which are the size of Avas FM, from let's say from east of England, from between east of England to Cornwall, from that area basically.
And is it something that a lot of people from Sweden do?
From Finland.
From Finland, sorry,
yeah.
My apologies.
We have this club who has most of the hobbyists, and we are something like 400 people, I think, 400 to 500 people. Not everybody is, of course, very active all the time, but some people are listening in the winter time. It's very difficult to hear any distant FM in the winter, but medium wave stations come clearly if you live somewhere outside of the cities. Medium wave collects so much man-made interference that it's almost impossible to hear any distant medium wave stations if you live in a more inhabited area.
But you must be listening to so many different types of radio stations.
Oh yeah. So it's basically something which I can't really influence so much. It's what happens up in the ionosphere. So it caters me stations from Russia, from even the Middle East countries, sometimes North Africa, very often France, Italy, sometimes Spain, UK. Let's say a couple of times a summer there is some kind of what we call an opening towards the UK. Of course, most of the time we only hear the big stations like BBC or similar stations from different countries, which are very high power stations. But when we are lucky, we sometimes the condition favors only certain direction, and even if there is a powerhouse station on the same frequency nearby, it can be overrun by a small local station like Avas FM.
So tell us, what did you think of the station?
Well, of course, what I heard wasn't more than, let's say, 5 minutes or so, and there were other stations coming stronger and fading in and out and stuff. So I got the basic idea you were playing Asian music, maybe it was Indian music, and then I heard two presenters. There was a lady who I already got that she said something like FM. So I thought that it must be the name of the station, but it took me a while before I really comprehended that it was Vaas FM, because I didn't know what the name means. But now, since I found out what I heard, I've been listening to a little bit of your internet stream, and now I know better. For example, yesterday I was listening to a discussion of your local politics. There were candidates being interviewed for different political
for the local election.
matters. Yeah. By the way, we are going to have a local election as well in about a month's time. And just yesterday, I received a letter that I had volunteered to be a helper in the organization of the election. So I will be present when people come to polling.
Some ideas.
Sorry?
So hopefully we have given you some ideas.
Yeah, I think that you seem to be a very active within your community, and I think that kind of local radio is really something that I appreciate. And unfortunately, as I know a little bit about the situation in different countries, there are fewer and fewer stations like yours today. That's the case here in Finland. When we started the private radio broadcasting in the, let's say it was the beginning of 80s in this country, all the stations were basically community-based. They dealt with the local matters and stuff, but nowadays bigger corporations have bought them, and they have very little local news, and certainly not. They are not really pushing local matters as they used.
So, what prompted you to write into us?
Well, because I was a little bit uncertain. I don't really write to all stations that I hear and identify, but I was kind of getting closer in certainty that it must be your station, but still I wasn't quite sure. Then I thought that maybe you have the little bit of time to check my MP3 audio clip, and it was excellent that you did that.
So the MP3 was sent out to all of our presenters, and they all had to listen to it, and everybody was surprised, but really, really happy. If you was to say something to all the presenters right now, what would you be saying to them?
Well, keep up the local spirit, and bring up topics which make people more involved with the community, and also help them to participate in what's happening in your local area. I think that is one of the most valuable things that the community station can do through all its presenters.
Also, tell me about some of the other stations that you've been tuning into.
I was just looking from the map that another community station which was pretty close to you is called Way Valley FM from Alton in Hampshire. It was basically looking from my home direction. It was just maybe 20 miles before Southampton, so a little bit closer, but exactly in the same direction.
Have you ever been to the UK?
Well, actually, I was living there with my family for a couple of years in Peterborough in the middle of 90s. At that time, I was working for Nokia, the telecoms company, and Peterborough was the center of the Nokia operations at that time in the UK.
Have you ever been down to Southampton?
Yeah, we visited there it was maybe a May weekend with a bank holiday attached to it. So we spent some time I didn't have time to check what was the name of the camping area, but it was pretty close to Southampton, and then we visited the city as well.
So what was the best thing that you remember about Southampton city?
Well, maybe I think with the children, it was really the shoreline. We went there. It was a nice May weekend, so the children actually went swimming even, and so it was a nice, because we lived in Peterborough in Cambridgeshire, where sea is not really close by.
Of course. If there was one message you would want to get out to everybody, what would that be?
Well, maybe a little bit higher level topic. When we moved into the UK, it was just the beginning of '96, and Finland had joined the European Union at that time. So it was really a nice kind of feeling to be living there and somehow having the feeling of belonging. So now that you are not part of the union anymore, I still hope that we can maintain the relation between, let's say, all EU countries and Britain.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are still part of Europe.
Absolutely,
we may not be in the European Union, but we are still part of Europe, and we love all of our European neighbors. And it's really good to know that we are entertaining your country as much as any of the other European countries as well. And it just feels so great that you guys are listening to us out there as well.
Yeah, it's really, it may be not possible for me to hear over the airways again, because it's kind of a once in a lifetime occasion, but certainly internet works, and I can get you much clearer through that means.
Well, also, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Do please keep in touch. Thank you once again for getting in touch. It was a shock, it was a surprise, but it was probably the best one we've had all year.
Tell my regards to everyone at the station.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.